which family background does she have, what her religion is, what her needs are, these type of things. So finding the right woman. Now the thing is that in ethnic societies, they have this thinking that when you are together with someone from the opposite sex and you are in a relationship, married relationship, and living with that person, love will develop because of sheer proximity and shared values and shared interest in life's expectations. So love will develop. Now we in the West, we look at that and we say, really? Can that happen? I mean, there's a chance that you might start living with someone and realize that you don't actually like her or him. That's why we have, we look that after dating in the West, many people live together just to assess.
Sure, premarital sex, all of that. I mean,
sure.
my girlfriends would say, I wouldn't marry anybody I hadn't had sex with first.
Well, you have to test the car before you, test drive the car before you buy it.
Right.
That type of mentality.
Well, and there was an era when that wasn't allowed because virginity was everything. And I don't mean women and men weren't doing it.
Yes, of course.
I mean, they were saying they weren't.
They were better at hiding it.
It certainly, society frowned on it, and some religions frowned on it.
Right.
But today, as you know, many couples live together before they marry.
Yes.
Now, in a cross-cultural relationship, how does the family, the ethnic family, feel about that?
Well, the traditional ethnic family disapproves of premarital sex, especially if we're talking about a female, like a daughter of the family. Because in an ethnic family, the family's honor is related to premarital sex, or the daughter, whether she has premarital sex or if she doesn't. So if a girl has premarital sex, the family is shamed and it's dishonored in the community.
Yes, well, as you know, in some countries, you can be stoned to death for adultery, honor killings. But we're in Canada, so let's focus on a girl in Canada who is in that relationship and needs to mimic a virgin. Not a virgin, needs to. Wants surgery. And there is such surgery, as you know.
There is, yes. I mean, this surgery that you're alluding to is called hymenoplasty, or re-virginization is commonly called. And it started 5 years ago by a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. And this person trained few physicians who are performing this across the states. And there's a couple that I've researched here in Canada. And basically what this surgery is, it's a 1 hour outpatient procedure that costs anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 in Canada, where the surgeon, through laser technology, rejoins the remnants of a burst hymen, stitches it together to show that, so the woman appears to be a virgin.
Appears to be, because as you know, it can happen when you're riding a bicycle.
Oh, sure. Riding a horse.
That's what we always said. Riding a horse, I'm not sure. But what if your groom-to-be says, it does not matter to me. I know we've had sex before marriage. It does not matter to me that you get surgery to mimic virginity.
Okay.
Then what? How does the family react? Does the family know? Does he worry about what his mother will think if his mother finds out that his bride is not a virgin?
Yes. If the main reason for this sense of deception, if you could call it, that some people choose to take, is so that, that the family doesn't find out, the girl's family doesn't find out, but also that the fiancé doesn't find out. Right? Now, if, for example, the man and the girl have had premarital sex, so he's aware of it.
Of course.
So the thing is, there's no reason to have it then, I think, that if he already knows about it.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense to me, but I have read, and I don't know if it's true, that some mothers will check the marital bed for signs of blood.
They come in
after the first night. So that must mean that your mother-in-law is somewhere in the building.
The thing is, if this is such a big concern then of the family, then I'm a firm believer that honesty is the best policy. Now, if the boy, who's getting married, the groom, knows that his parents are going to take exception to this. So what I've done in the past is bring the parents into therapy and have the sense of education, because not everyone recognizes that a hymen could be broken in other ways too, but also the thing is, if it was through sexual intercourse, then the parents have to realize that here, what is really important here? Is it saving face to the community, or is it the happiness of your daughter? And so going through a process where they actually realize what is really important in this relationship.
But as you know, in many of these cultures, it is still a man's world.
Sure.
And there's much sexism, and the rules are different.
Yes.
And it's extremely challenging for most people raised in North America.
Yes.
If you marry, you're a Caucasian, and you marry an African American, raised in Seattle, raised in Canada, there can still be issues.
Oh, there can be. Oh, of course. There's. I mean, racism plays a part in relationships as well. The thing is, the couple may accept each other and their races and religions and things, but the families may not. So the thing is, there with ethnic families, for example, the person, when they're under this type of relationship stress, and if their partner gives them an ultimatum, for example, and saying that it's either me or your family. Now, with most ethnic people, because they are collectivistic in nature, they will go back to their family. And so that's one of the things that I say to the Westerner partner. Never give an ultimatum to your ethnic man or woman.
Yes.
Because you might.
Well, and I went to a high school where about a quarter of the kids were black and Spanish, the other quarter Spanish American, and there were unwritten rules.
Yes.
As a white girl, you did not dance with a black boy.
Sure.
You did not go. I had girlfriends who were black, but we didn't go to each other's houses.
Yes.
You didn't even know.
Tell me
and
why.
We were bussed.
Tell me why.
We don't know why. I wish I knew why.
Yes.
It just wasn't done. It wasn't kosher. And we liked each other.
Yes, of course.
But it just, first of all, you know, I mean, if you dated a black man, you could be considered white trash.
Yes.
I mean, it was horrible and awful.
Sure.
And you didn't even think about it, because if you fell in love with a black man, it was frowned on by most.
Yes.
People you didn't necessarily need to care about, but it was tough for parents. It was, you know, and your girlfriends would say, oh, no.
Yes.
And then, you know, since that time, we've made some progress.
Of course, we made a lot of progress.
A lot of progress.
I mean, the thing is, when we look at relationships historically, you have this sort of social perception of people of certain races. And that could be one of the things that leads to people to frown upon their kids dating or marrying someone of a different race, because they may not be considered good enough.
Exactly. And what about the intimacy in a relationship? Establishing intimacy.
Yes, yes.
Any different in a cross-cultural than in a normal relationship?
Sure. I mean, the thing is, intimacy, I define
I shouldn't say normal. Another kind of.
Typical.
Because they're both normal in a sense.
Of course. I look at intimacy, I define it as open, honest communication with the other person. And that leads into certain bond in the relationships. Now, the thing is, intimacy, sometimes when you're with a person from a different race or a different culture, you may not be open about your personal views, because you think that might be offensive to the other person. You know, certain sexual strategies, for example. We in the